Hello everybody, I'm Miss MonMon. Welcome to my channel. Today we are having another vintage cooking adventure, and today's recipe is from 1949. It is the prize peach pie, which was in collaboration with the canned clinged peaches from California, but there's also several mentions of Crisco, so it might have also been a dual collaboration. I have heard some sources say that this recipe was part of a competition, and that is why it was published in multiple magazines, but I was unable to find exactly which magazine my recipe came from. As we are within the Australian summertime, peaches are absolutely everywhere and so delicious, so I really wanted a recipe that was inspired by peaches, as it's probably one of my favourite fruits. So let's get started. Aprons on. For today's recipe, we will need the following ingredients. Half a cup of undiluted evaporated milk, 1.5 teaspoons of plain gelatin, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2/3 of a cup of syrup from the canned peaches, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 16 quartered marshmallows, 1 teaspoon of grated lemon rind, 1.5 cups of canned cling peaches, but we're using good old Woolies brand, and 1 baked 9-inch pastry shell. In preparation for this recipe, I had already put my can of evaporated milk into the freezer to make sure it was ice cold. In a separate small bowl, I softened the gelatin in the lemon juice. Moving over to the stove, I combined the peach syrup, sugar, salt, and marshmallows and cooked it over a very low heat, stirring it ever so slowly until all the marshmallows were delicious, gloopy, and melted. Upon the perfect level of marshmallow meltedness, I added in the softened gelatin and lemon rind. I then popped this mixture into the fridge to chill slightly. It thickens and it should be about the consistency of unbeaten egg whites when it's at the perfect level of chillness. I also read a note that the best way to whip evaporated milk also include chilling the bowl and the beater you are going to use. So I did this before I took the milk out of the fridge. When my milk was fully chilled, I poured it into the cold bowl, attached the cold beater to its little doodad doohickly thing, and I beated it until it was fluffy. I then carefully folded the whipped milk into the cold gelatin mixture. I'm not that great at folding things together, as I just have this fear of knocking out all the air bubbles, so please be kind in your comments on my folding skills. Trust me, I don't even like to fold laundry. When my mixture was perfectly combined, I then poured it into this hand-opened pie shell, which of course was broken. I dolloped as ladylike as possible my peachy mixture into my shell. I piled it on quite high and then popped it into the fridge to serve.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
So my pie has been chilling out for a couple of hours and it is completely set and firm. The last thing I need to do is adorn my pie with the leftover canned peaches, so that is what we're going to do now. Isn't it beautiful? I love it. It's so pretty. I think it's probably one of the prettiest things I've made, especially from a vintage recipe. So now I kind of don't want to cut it, but we're going to cut it and give it a bit of a taste test. So excited to try it. I want some of the crust and I want some of the peach. Come here. Oh, that's actually really good. I can see why they call it the prize peach pie, because this would win a prize. It is super moussey and marshmallowy, which is one of my favorite dessert textures. The lemon juice really cuts through the sweetness of the marshmallows. I thought it was going to be sickly sweet, but it's actually really nice and soft in its flavoring. You can definitely taste the peaches. I would definitely recommend you give this prize peach pie a go. It was super simple. I am kind of glad I didn't have to use my oven because it's summer and it's a bit too hot. And it's a really nice chilled dessert. It's really delicious. I wish you can all taste it. Thank you so much for joining me today on another vintage cooking adventure. If you have any recipes you would like me to try out, please either send them through my Instagram or post a link in the comments below. If you would like to see more close-up photos of this entire adventure, you can find all that in my blog, which is also in the description box below. As always, you can find me on any of my social media. I'd love to have you along for my own little adventures of vintage glamour and tomfoolery. I will see you guys all next week, but until then, be kind, be true, and be you. Bye! Now we get to eat the pie. I should probably start recording.